Okay, so if you can still remember last time, we discussed about integral and zero exponents, right? So now, why did we study those things? Because it will be related for our next topic. And those are very important in our lesson for today. Okay, sorry sa mga sa silingan. So we are going to have now our radicals. Okay, so have you heard the word radicals before? Or have you encountered this word before? Sige daw. No? Okay. Answers are no. Sige. So, actually class, maybe um nakita na ninyo siya before, but you name it differently. Okay? Pero radicals di ay ito siya. So we have here class radicals. So when we say radicals, an exponential number whose exponent is a rational number and can be expressed as radicals. So katutong mga exponential expression last time. So katong na ay mga zero exponents, na integral is exponents, positive or negative exponents, those can be expressed as radicals. So radicals class, this is in the form of like this. So diba, I think you're familiar with this one, especially to this nga kuan, nga sign. And we sometimes call this one a square root only. Diba? So here class, this is our exponential. So when we say exponential, mo to siyang na exponent. So we have there 8 and then your exponent is 1/3. So the base is 8 and then our exponent is 1/3. So this exponential expression class can be transformed into radical expression. So how do you transform that one? So, ang imuhang base class, that would be your radicand. And your radicand is, mo na siya ang inside sa imuhang radical sign. So, katong square root nga atong gitawag sa una class, we call that one as radical sign. Okay? Radical sign na siya class. And now, for your exponent class, you have there, that is 1/3 man. Ang kanang numerator ni mo diha class, ang exponent ana ari na siya sa 8. Okay, ari na siya sa 8. And then ang kanay mong denominator nga 3 is ari na siya sa index. Ayas. Okay, so ari na siya sa index. Nasabtan? So that is how you can translate or transform from exponential to your radicals. So you can write this one class or you can take a photo para sa to ang next nga mga slides is maka-catch up ta. Okay? Or makasabot dayon ta sa unsaon pag-change. So you have there 8 and 1/3, mahimo siya og kani 8 ang nasa sulod and then ang denominator nga 3, that is your index. So if we're going to read this one class, this is cube root of 8. Okay? We call this one as cube root of 8. Kay kanang 3 cube man na siya. And then kanang radicand is 8. Okay? So if for example class 2 ni siya, 2 pud inyong ibutang dere. Pero kung 2 gani class, pwede na siyang dili isuwat diha ang 2. Mo na siya atong gitawag og square root of 8. Okay? If 2 gani, it's okay na to put here 2. Pero 3 gani pataas, like 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, you have to write it here. Okay? Kung wala ning 3, that is square root of 8. Kay na may 3, that is cube root of 8. Okay? So that is how exponential and radical are related to each other. So that's why need you to natong ma-understand ang atong discussion last time. Okay, so now class, express exponential expression to radical expression and vice versa. So we have here some examples. So we're going to change this exponential expression into radical expression, which is 5 and 1/4. Okay, 5 and 1/4. So same process lang yapon class. Ang base na to would be in the radicand or inside the radical symbol, and then ang denominator, that is 4 here as your index. So if we're going to read that one, that is the 4th root of 5. Okay, 4th root of 5. And next one class we have here. So we are going to write 4 and 4 raised to the power of 3 over 2 in radical expression. So, same sa atong gibuhat pag last class. So, you have there, ang 4 nga base isud sa radical symbol. And then, ang katong numerator class, di ba niingon ko, mauna siya ang exponent. So, mauna siya yung exponent sa imong 4. Or you can write that one as sud sa parentheses. So, imong numerator mo na siya imong exponent, and then ang denominator kay mo na siya imong index. Then, ingon man ko, if 2 na gani na siya, it's okay na to write 2. Okay, sa imong index. So, if we're going to read that one, that is square root of 4 cube or 4 raised to the third power. Okay? Mana siya, square root of 4. Square root of 4 kay square root naman na siya, and then 4, and then cube. Or raised to the third power. Or raised to 3. Pwede na siya, raised to 3. So those are our examples for express exponential to radical. Okay, let's have the next one. Square root of, this one is cube root of 8 raised to 4. In exponential na po daw. So, meaning to say, bali na po da. So, same lang gihapon iyang process class. Di ba kabaw man ta ang radicand, mao na siya ang base sa atong exponential form. So, you have there 8, and then na siya 4 nga exponent diri, so that is your numerator, and then the index would be your denominator. So, meaning to say, from cube root of 8 raised to 4, that is 8 raised to 4 over 3. So, the index is 3, is the denominator of the fractional exponent, and the power 4 is the numerator of the fractional exponent. So, this is what we call fractional exponent class, since fraction man ang ato ang given exponent here. Okay? And then, ang change gyud sa ato ang radical class is fractional exponent. And now, let's have the next one. Change the expression 5, fifth root of 32 to exponential form. So, same process, 32 ang base. And then, since wala man ta exponent, so you can just put 1 sa inyong numerator. And then your index is 5. So you have there, your denominator is 5 in your exponent. So the fifth root of 32 is equal to 32 raised to 1/5. Okay, so far, questions for expressing rational exponential expression to radical expression and vice versa. Nasubay ra ba? Because it's very helpful class, especially when we're going to solve. So, dapat kabaw ta sa pasikot-sikot. Kung unsay hang bali, unsa pa jud hang kuan, and then mo na siya. Question so far?
None.
None? Okay. So, we have here our next one class, which is laws of radicals. So, actually, these laws of radicals are similar to the laws of integral exponents. So, di ba, we had man integral exponents last time. So, they are similar with each other. So we have here, we're going to let A, B, and M, N are integers. Okay, we're going to let all of those letters as our integers. So we have here the first law. So you have there the nth root of A raised to N is equals to A raised to 1 over N quantity raised to N. Okay, so unsa day meaning ana niya? So you have there A is raised to N over N is equals to A. So meaning to say class, if you have the same here, the same ihang index and the same um ang imuhang power, so the nth root of a raised to the power of N is equal to A. So meaning to say, mura siyag makancel gani class and then ang may bilin is A. Okay, that is the first law of radicals. Basta the same ihang index, the same ang iyahang power. Okay, so ang mabili niya is ang base na lang or ang atong gitawag nga radicand. And next one, we have here nth root of A times nth root of B. So, di ba, if i-change na to siya into a exponential form, that would be A raised to 1 over N times B raised to 1 over N. So, you can write that one class as quantity A times B or AB raised to the power of 1 over N. So, nga naman, because they have the same fractional exponent. They have the same index. Okay? So, you can have their nth root of A, B. Nth root of A, B. So, the nth root of A times a number and the nth root of B is equal to the nth root of the product of A and B. So, same man yun gihapon ang iyahang index and same iyahang pag-change na to sa fractional exponent. So, you can just simply combine since multiplication man ang iyahang operation. That's for the second one. And now, for the third law, we have there nth root of A over nth root of B. So, change lang sa gihapon ninyo siya into exponential. You have there A raised to 1 over N and B raised to 1 over N. So, you can just also simply write A over B and then quantity raised 1 over N. So, the same lang sa gihapon aning sa multiplication, but this time, ang operation diri is division. So, you can just simply turn it into nth root of A over B. Kung ibalik nimo siya into radical expression. Nth root of A over B. So, the nth root of A divided by the nth root of B is equal to the nth root of the quotient of A and B. So, if you notice, class, they are the same with the integral exponent nga laws. The same ra gyud siya. But this time is ma-change lang nato siya into radical. And now, for the last one, you have there the nth root of m root of A is equal to m root of A raised to the power of 1 over N. So here, class, as you notice, you have there two radical sign. Okay, we have two radical sign, and yes, that is possible. Okay, that is possible. So you have there, if we're going to write that one, so you're going to have A raised to 1 over N and then raised into 1 over M. Okay, so ikaduha siya mag fractional exponent pod kay duha man ang imuhang radical sign. So that is also equal to m and n root of A. So the root of A root is the root of A where R is equals to N. So it simply means that imong gi-multiply both imuhang index diha. So you have there n times m. Okay, and then gi-write lang siya as r as a result. So that is for the loss of our radicals. Okay, so far, any questions for this?
None.
Okay, so that's great. No questions. Now, let's have here as a 4. So, sa 4 is double iyahang index. So, n, and then you have there the nth root and m root of a, diba? So, duha siya. So, if you're going to change that one into a um if ato siyang i-form gyud into a radical sign nga mawagtang ang isa nila, so ang kanang nahibili nimo sa duol sa imuhang A is mo na siya ang imuhang main index. And then ang kanay mong next nga index is you can write that one as a fraction. So you can have, di ba, ang kani siya kay denominator man ni siya and then 1 ra ang ihang numerator. So you have there m root of a raised to 1 over n. And then kung i-change pa gid na nimo siya into a fractional form, so di ba ang kaning m nimo that is your index. So you can have that one as your denominator. So you have there m and then 1 lang kay 1 naman ang imuhang kuan diha katong parenthesis ngayon ani. So you have there 1 over m gihapon. So if ato lang siyang i-generalize kay we are just going to simply multiply here. Okay, we are just going to simply multiply this one. So you have there as a result, kay mo man ang i-multiply, di ba? This is product of a power, yung mga exponent. So multiply nimo, that is 1 over n times m. So you have there a raised to 1 over m times n. So as a result, if ato nasad na siyang i-change into radical, that is n root of a. Or basta imo ra siyang gi-multiply gani ang atoang index nga naa sa gawas in order for you to solve it. Aya, okay, pase. Okay ra ba? Nag-gets ra. Later ato siyang maybe we have here an example for our fourth nga kuan law. Okay? So let's proceed first with our examples. Okay. So we have here our cube root of 12 raised to 3. So, kung atong i-apply atong laws of radicals diha class, we can have there, di ba, i-change man nato siya into a, into a exponential form. So, you have there, kani siya, kay that is your base, 12. And then, you have there, yung exponent diha is 1 raman. So, that is 1. And then, you have there your cube root, that is over 3. Then, na siya'y exponent nga 3 sa gawas. So, napod siya sa gawas sa parentheses imong exponent. So, remember class ha, kung unsa ra gani naa sa sud sa exponent as imong parentheses class is that is what you're going to transform into radical symbol. And then, kung naka-exponent diha sa gawas, gawas na po na siya sa imong parentheses. Okay? So, you have there cube root of 3 raised to 3. So, you have there 12 ang base and then what man siya exponent diha kay 1 raman. So, 1 ang imuhang numerator and then the denominator, your index is 3. And then, gi-enclose yaw parenthesis that is 3. And then, you're going to apply the laws of integral or integral exponent. So, di ba, kani siya kay product of a power man na siya. So, you're just going to simply multiply 1/3 times 3. So, 1/3 times 3, that is 3 over 3 man. And then this one, di ba man siya to ang kuan ganina, law number 1, which is kung ma-equal ihang numerator and denominator sa fractional exponent, that is equivalent to 1. So, 12 raised to 3 over 3, that is simply equal to 12. So, masimplify siya using your laws of radical. Questions for number 1 example. Nasabtan ra ba ang first example? Actually, pwede nimong magamit if naapay problem sa katong laws of radicals, applicable pod ang atoang laws of integrals. As long as kabaw lang yun ka mo change from radicals to exponential form. Sorry. Okay? So, how about the others? Do you have any questions for this example? Good, Surata? Okay, so let's proceed with the next one. We have here the fifth root of 4 times fifth root of 8. So this is our second law a while ago, diba? So this one is katong same ang ilahang index. So as we can see, they have the same index and then their operation is multiplication. So we are just going to simply copy the index and then just multiply your radicand. So multiply ra nimo ang 4 times 8, that is 32. Okay, that is 32. And then the fifth root of 32 class, that is 2. Because if you're going to multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that is equivalent to 32. Diba? Kaya kung i-change na siya into exponential form, that is 32 raised to 1/5. And then ang 32 raised to 1/5 class is equivalent to 2 man. Okay? So this is for our law number 2. Questions for this
Sabot rin po,
example?
sir.
Okay, how about the others? Wala ra? Okay. Now let's go to the next one, number 3. So you have there square root of 18 over square root of 2. So the same sa ato ang number 2, but this is already division. So they do have the same index man, which is 2 kay square root. So pwede na to siyang mausa as square root of 18 over 2. Remember ha, basta the same ragod iyang index ang applicable. So you have there 18 divided by 2, that is 9, and then square root of 9, that is equivalent to 3. Okay, that is equivalent to 3. Okay, I think kuan naman dali ra siya masabtan because same lang siya sa 2. Now let's have our number 4, which is apply na to ang fourth law ganina. So you have there the cube root of square root of 64. So that is equivalent to 3 square root of 8. So nganong nahimo siya 3 square root of 8? Diba? Kay kani kung ato ni siyang i-simplify class, okay, kung ato ni siyang i-simplify ang kaning sulod, which is ang square root of 64, diba, that is 8. And then since naapamantay cube root sa gawas, so you're just going to put the cube root of 8. And then the cube root of 8, that is 2. Because 2 times 2, 4 times 2, that is 8. So your answer there is 2. So sa atong example class, pwede ra gyud nimo siyang i-kuan diha, unahon nimo og solve ang naa sa tunga. Okay? Unahon nimo og solve ang naa sa tunga since naaman siya'y naaman siya'y radicand. Okay? Naaman siya'y radicand. Okay, question so far? Questions, clarifications, violent reactions?
Sir.
Wala ra. Okay. How about the others? Questions. Okay. So, kato akong giingon, di ba ganina class nga, you're just going to simply multiply your index sa kaning fourth na to nga law. Or pwede ra po to siya natong i-apply class. Like for example, atong i-multiply ang 3 times 2. Diba? 3 times 2 class, that is equivalent to 6 man. So may tabuan na niya, may mo siyag 6 root of 64. So if you're going to calculate 6 root of 34 class, that is 64, 6 root of 64, that is still equivalent to 2. So in either of those ways you're going to follow, then the answers are still the same. Okay? Pwede ninyo i-multiply iyahang index. 3 times 2, 6. And then 6 root of 64, that is still 2. Okay, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that is still 64 man. Okay? So, wala right question. Now, let's have the last one class. So, kanisha. So, you have there um, multiplication of your radicals. So you have their cube root of 12 raised to 2 times square root of 12. So ang buhaton nato niya class is i-change jud nato siya into a exponential form. So this one, it will become 12 raised to 2 over 3, and then ang kaniyang square root of 12, that is 12 raised to the power of 1 half. So, imong buhaton class, di ba, naaman ni sa tuhang integral exponent nga law, which is, kung same gani ang iyahang base class, ang atong buhaton is, i-add ra nato ang exponent kung multiplication iyahang operation. Di ba? That is a power of a product, bato, or product of a power. So, same as sa atong buhaton ana, as you can see here, gi-add na tong exponent nga 2 over 3 plus 1 half. Okay, kay same raman ilahang base class. Kung here sa ato ang mga previous nga laws, is na-apply na to nga same iyahang index, kani same ang iyahang radicand. So, inika-change na to into exponential form, the same ilahang base. So, kung the same ilahang base and then nag-multiply ka diha, you can just simply add their exponent. So, kuhaon lang nimo ang ilahang LCD since ang fraction nila is dissimilar man. So, LCD is 6. So, 6 times, 6 divided by 3, that is 2 times 2, 4. 6 divided by 2 times 1, that is 3. So, simplify nimo, that is 4 plus 3, that is 12 raised to the power of 7 over 6. Or kung ato siyang i-simplify as radical, that is square root, no. That is 6 root of 12 raised to 7. Okay? 6 root raised to 7. And now, class, actually, kani siyang mga next nga process is ma-apply ni nato siya sa atong following nga discussion. So, kani siya is simplifying na ni siya nga diri nga part, kani siya. So, you have there, ang kanay mo hang 12 raised to 7 class, you can dissect that one. Or, pwede nimo siyang buwagon. Kani kabuwag nimo niya class, you can have 12 raised to 6 times 12 raised to 1 or 12 lang. Kay kung i-add man na nimo sila, di ba, kay same ilang base and then 1 diri, 12 raised to 7 mangyapon siya. So, ang gibuhat diha class, nganong ginaani na to siya in order for us to cancel. Kay kung makancel na gani nimong index diri class, og ang kani siya kay same man siyag exponent and then same siya og um, same siyag index og same siyag exponent, pwede man ang makancel. Applying to this first nga kuan nato. First nga law. So kung makancel na siya class, ang kanang 12 nimo diha magawas na siya. So may tabo, may nani na siya class. So may tabo, magawas ang 12 and then ang mahibilin diha is kani naman siya. But remember, nagyapon kay index nga 6 sa kani nga 12. So you will have your final answer as 12, 6 root of 12. So this one is simplifying na. And you can understand more later on. But so far, questions for laws of radicals. Questions
None.
for this? None, Ra? Okay. So now, class, let's move on with our simplifying radicals. So, mo na ning katong ma-apply atong last example. So, here in simplifying radicals, a radical is in simplest form if the radical does not contain a perfect square, cube, or nth power. Okay, remember ha? Wala na siya perfect square nga number. Kabaw na magurumon sa perfect square number. 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 81, and so on. Those are perfect square number. Any number nga pwede nimo siyang ma-divide or ma-multiply by itself. And then cube or nth power. And now for next one, we have here our example like this. Square root of 2. It is already in the simplest form since ang 2 is not a perfect square number man. Meaning to say, the square root of 2 is not exact. Because if we're going to calculate that one, it is na siya something a decimal ang answer. Okay? Pero kung square root of 4 na siya class, that is not in simplest form. Kaya square root of 4 is equal to 2 man. So, pwede pa siyang ma-solve. Okay? That is the first one. And then next example, you have there the cube root of 5. That is also in the simplest form since ang 5 is not a perfect cube man. Meaning to say, dili man perfect cube ang ato ang 5. Pero kung cube root of 8 na siya class, that is still pwede pang ma-simplify. Kay cube root of 8, that is 2 man. Pero ang cube root of 5 is nanana siya something nga decimal. So, kung imo na siyang i-cube root ang 5, not exact yang answer. And now, we have here for number 2. There is no fraction in the radicand or no radical in the denominator. Remember, no fraction in the radicand, no radical in the denominator. So, we have here our example. This one. Square root of 3/4. So, di ba pwede man na nato siyang mahimog cube root of 3, square root of 3 and square root of 4. Katong applying sa laws of radicals, pwede siyang mabuwag. Kaya ang square root of 4 class, pwede pa man na siyang ma-simplify, which is 2 siya. So, square root of 3 over 2, that is already the simplified such that there is no radical in the denominator. Meaning to say, wala kay radical sign diha sa denominator kaya na-simplify man nimo siya. So, this is now the simplified form. Questions. So, mo ni siya atong timailhan nga kuan siya. Nga simplified siya. Wala ra? Now, let's move on to the next one, number 3. The index of the radical should be in the lowest possible index. Okay? Should be in the possible radical index. So, you have there, for example, this. 6 root of 8 is not in the simplest form since the index can be expressed as the product of 3 and 2. Diba, pwede man na siyang 3 times 2 and then ma-apply to na tong fourth law of radical. And then, kung imong gamiton ang cube root and then square root of 8, pwede pa nimo siyang ma-simplify as another answer. So, meaning to say, dili na siya pwede nga 6 pa kay pwede man na siyang ma-half nimo ang imuhang index diha as 3 times 2. Okay? And then, possible pa man na siya nga ma-solve class. using the law number 4. Now, to simplify it as, or you can use this one, square root and cube root of 8, that is, diba, ang kanin siya is, ang cube root of 8, that is, kuan man, 2. And then, napaka-square root sa gawat, so square root of 2, since the cube root of 8 is 2 and the square root of 2 is not exact. So, muna ni siya ang simplified niya nga form. So, sa pananaw na to class, hala, dili naman na pwede ang 6 root of 8. Uy, pero, we can do a lot of things if you know the laws, if you know what are the restrictions in simplifying your radicals. Okay? So, tricky kani siya class. There is no only one answer. There is one answer here, but there are a lot of ways. Okay? There are a lot of ways. So, now, for here, you have to simplify radical expressions with perfect nth factor, a fraction or radicand or denominator, and reducible index. Muna siya ang generalized form nga pwede na tong ma-simplify ato ang radicals. Okay? So, hinuktukan jud na tong maayo ang number class or ang radicals kay dili man siya pwede nga. Usa lang katanaw ay di man siya pwede. Pero what kaibaw, there are still other ways to solve it. Okay? Questions in simplifying radicals. Clarifications, violent reactions. Nakutaw na ba ang utok? Kaya magdagan-dagahan dyan siya, no? Kuan lang yun ta. During asynchronous is try lang po to study. Okay? Kay oras pa man na sa tong math. Nakutaw na? Sige lang, laban. Okay. So now class, I'll give you some examples in simplifying. But before that one, let's have the properties. So kung natay laws ganina, ang properties also are very applicable, especially in simplifying. So you have there the properties of our radicals. So you have there, actually balik-balik ra ni siya class, mura ra siyag bali sa atong laws. So you have there nth root of A and B or A times B, buwagon siya, pwedeng inani. Diba, law number, kuan man na to siya, law number 2, ganina sa radicals. And then this one, law number 4. So you have there the nth root and mth root of P that is equivalent to n times m root of P. And then you have there, kani siya, mo ni siya to ang law number 3 ganina, which is nth root of P over Q, pwede siyang mabuwag as nth root of P over nth root of Q. Okay? Balik-balik lang ang properties o ang laws in order for you to master. Okay, gamit man kay siya, especially in simplifying or solving. Okay? So now this is the time that we're going to simplify. So in simplifying radical class, there are 3 ways to solve it. First is reducing the radicand. We have also reducing the order of radicals. And the last one is rationalizing denominators. Okay, so these are the 3 ways. So we have here the first one, reducing radicand is finding a factor of a radicand whose indicated roots can be found. Okay, and then now I'm going to use Jamboard so that makita ninyo on how to solve it. Okay, so we have here our example. Square root of 50. Makita ba ninyo, class? Ang Jamboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we're going to look at class, is 50 a square number? A perfect square number? Square root of 50. Perfect square ba siya? Nabatay number nga kung i-multiply na to siyang self kay ma result of 50? Yes or no? $50. Unsa man kung i-multiply na tong 5 times 5, 25. Dili siya pwede. 7 times 7, 49. So ang 50 dili gyud siya perfect square number. Okay? So may tag perfect square number class sa kanaging number nga tong i-multiply by itself. And then ang result ana niya mo na siya perfect square number. 5 times 5, 25. 25 is a perfect square number. 10 times 10, 100. 100 is a perfect square number. Sabar! So, you have there, ang kanang square root of 50 na to class, di na siya perfect square number. Since ang ato ang first nga way is reducing the radicand man, and then ang ato ang radicand diha is 50 man, di ba? So, we're going to find factors of 50 nga naay pwede na to ma-square root. So, unsa may mga factors sa 50 class? Sige, let's try to think. What are the factors of 50? We can have 10 times 5, right? 10 times 5. Unsa pa laing factors class? We have 25 times 2. Yes, it could be. So, 25 times 2. So, we're going to look at these factors class sa ato ang 50. So, asa man, since ang ato ang index diri class kay 2 man, di ba? Kay that is a square root. So, mangita tag number diri nga, or mangita ta sa atong mga factors nga asa atong pwede ma-square root ani nila. Ma-square root ba na tong 10 og 5? Or ang 25 og 2?
25 og 2, sir.
Okay, so we can use our 25 and 2. So, ato na siyang gamiton as our factor. So, ang kanay mo ang 25 times 2, that is still equal to 50 or square root of 50. So, ang ato lang gikuha diri nga kuan class nga result sa atong factor is dapat natay mas square root kay square root man ni siya. 'Di ba? Ang square root kay number nga pwede nimo siyang ma-multiply and then mo-result siya sa imuhang radicand. So, ato na din na siyang i-solve class. Can we have square root of 25? Naa ba class?
Yes, sir, 5.
Okay, that is 5. So, ang kanang result nimo sa square root of 25 class nga 5, imo na siyang ipagawa sa imuhang radical symbol. So, unsay nahibilin class? Unsay nahibilin? Di ba man naman taan ni? Square root of 25, that is 5. Unsay nahibilin nato? You have there
2.
2 or square root of 2. Remember, kung imo na siyang buwagon, katong law nato number 1, di ba? That is this one. Square root of 25 times square root of 2. Di ba? Law number 1. So, ang naibilin ana niya class, that is still square root of 2. So, your simplified form of your square root of 50 is 5 square root of 2. So, that is how you are going to simplify using reducing the radicand. Okay, and then ang kanang square root of 2 kay dili naman na nato siya ma-simplify, di ba? Kay wala naman siya exact nga number. So you have there square root of 2. So kung ato siyang i-check sa katong giingon ganina nga tulo nga dapat wala siyay gitawag nga perfect and factor, wala na may perfect number diha. Wala kay fraction nga radicand, wala pud kay denominator nga fraction or radicand nga fraction nga denominator. And then dili na pud ma-reduce ang imuhang index. Kay ang 5 dili naman na siya ma-reduce other than 5 times 1 na lang. 'Di ba? So that is now your final answer. Question for the first example.
Wala, sir.
Goods na ta. So mo na siya ha mangita kag factor niya. Now let's go to the next one. We have their cube root of 81. Cube root of 81 daw. So, unsa may mga factors sa 81 nga na ay perfect nga cube. So, perfect nga cube na sadta kay kuan man diri, cube man ang atoang index. So, unsa may mga factors sa 81 nga naa kay pwede ma-cube niya? Unsa may factors sa 81, di ba? We can have 9 times 9, sakto ba? O, 81 man ang 9 times 9. So, unsa pa yung mga factors niya? 9 times 2, 9 times 9. Unsa pa yung mga factors niya, class? So, kani siya, layo jud kay maabtan na tong utok ani kay magkuan man ta mag-multiply, multiply. Sige, unsa? Sa pailaing makuan sa 81. Wala na? You can think of anything? Okay, sige. Kapit naman time. Ako na lang ihatag ha. You have there 27 times 3. Sakto ba? 27 times 3, it is equal to 81? Okay, yes. So, which of these ang ato ang gamiton, class? Tanaw na to nga, asa man ang ma-cube ani nila? 9 times 9 or ang 27 times 3? Asa may na ma-cube nila? Okay, we have there our 27 times 3. Kay kanang 9 class, di man na nato siya pwede ma-cube. Pwede na to siya ma-square root, pero dili na to siya pwede ma-cube. Okay? So, you have there, we're going to use, you have there cube root of 27 and then times 3. Or kung ato siyang buwagon, you can have cube root of 27 and then times cube root of 3. So, ato na din siyang i-simplify. Cube root of 27 class, pila?
3.
Okay, that is 3. So, ma-cube root na gaya na siya, class. Whole number ang answer, ana niya, ha? Whole number. And then this one, can we still have cube root of 3? Makakuan ba na to siya? Ang cube root of 3? Ma-apply ba na to ang laws of exponent niya? Laws of radicals? Okay, you have there D. Sige. How about the others? Okay, actually, dili na siya. So, we are going to have or to copy that one. So, atong final answer is 3 cube root of 3. Okay? Since dili naman na nato siya ma-simplify, class, kay 3 cube root of 3, wala mo siya answer. Okay? So, that is now your final answer. Questions? Clarifications? Violent reactions? Wala ra? Okay. Wala. Mo proceed ko og second nga kuan ka sab, pero actually sa PPT is na mo'y makita pa nga more to examples for the simplifying radicals using reducing the radicand. So mo proceed sa ako sa next one kay it's already 10 naman. Mo-extend lang tagamay ha. So you have there simplifying radicals by reducing the order of the radicals. So kato kay reducing the radicand man to kani kay reducing the order of radicals. So to reduce the order of radicals is to reduce the index to its lowest possible number. So kani siya is mo na ning katong ma-apply na to ang katong example na to ganina. So let me share my Jamboard again. So you have there simplify 8th root of a raised to 12. Okay? You have their 8th root raised to the power of a raised to 12. So, atong buhaton ana niya class is same sa atong example ganina to ganina sa a raised to 7 and then gibuwag na to ang a6 ug ang a1. So, mo na siya atong buhaton diri for the second way. So, you have there 8 root raised to kani siya, di ba ang 12 kay that is the same man with this one. Di ba? Not plus but times. Di ba? Same raman na siya ani. Kay kung imo na siyang i-multiply, ilahang exponent is imo ramang i-simply add. So you have there 8 plus 4, that is 12. And then since ningon mo ko ganina, basta kani siya, pwede nimo siyang buwagon balik. So ikabuwag nimo, you have there 8 root of a raised to 8. And then times 8 root of a raised to 4. So kani siya class. Katong law number 1 na to. Katong pareha iyang index o iyang exponent, pila may equivalent niya. Diba? Makancel raman to siya. So, ini ka-cancel ni mo na niya. So, ang mabilin diha, makancel na siya. Ang mabilin is A na lang. Then, ang kani siya, if masimplify pa ni mo, or dili, so, dili na siya masimplify. Pero, sa itong pananaw is dili siya masimplify if in ani nga forma. But, if we're going to change it into a exponential form, di ba kung exponential form, that is a raised to 4 over 8 man. So, meaning to say, ma-reduce pa siya class. Kay 4 raised to 8, that is, kuan man, that is 1/2. So, from this one, so you will have your final answer as a times, and then ibalik na sa nimo siya into radical sign, so that would be square root of a. Or pwede na nimo siyang dili butangan og times diha. Or a square root of a ang atoang final answer. Okay? So, pwede na nimo siyang bali-balihon class ha. Ibali nimo og exponential, ibali nimo og radical para ma-simplify gyud nimo siya. Okay? Para ma-simplify gyud nimo siya. If you want to find another way, class, pwede po itong magamit na to ang katong i-reduce ganihang index. So, which is, that is the last way. So, pwede mo siyang, di ba, ang kanikay, pwede mo siyang ma-reduce as square root of, and then fourth root of a raised to 4. Pwede man siya ana. Then, ang kani, makancel, ang mabili na lang kay square root of a. So, same gyapon, kapihon ang a, and then square root of a. So, any of these ways, pareha gyapon nilang answer. Gibalhin lang ninimo ang iyahang kuan into exponential, and then ang kani is nag-reduce ka sa iyahang index. Questions, class, so far? Wala ra? Don't worry, class ha, kay sa inyo hamanggong PPT class, inani siya forma. Nana siya explanation. Okay? Nana siya explanation sa inyong PPT. So, pwede rin ninyo siyang studyhan balik-balik. Okay? So, since it's already 10:05 man, actually, we have remaining slides pa. So, I want you to study na lang this on your own. Okay? So, gamay naman lang sad siya. Sige, questions so far? Sabotable raman ka naman siya yung mga definitions. Questions? Clarifications? Violent reactions? Okay, none. So I think that's it for our lesson today, which is radical.